Welcome back to Everything Old is New Again. This segment of the program is sponsored by ResumeDoctorInc.com. When you're trying to change your career, apply for a promotion, or trying to find a job, your resume is the first thing that is seen that represents you to a potential employee. So make sure your resume makes a clear, concise, and professional impression of who you are so you can get that job interview. Send your current resume to ResumeDoctorInc.com for a free online review. You'll receive a timely reply with a reasonable quote to properly prepare your resume. ResumeDoctorInc.com has over 15 years of experience in this field. Let them make sure you have a resume that will get you noticed. Email them at resumeinc@aol.com, resumedoctorinc@aol.com.
What's your name?
Angelica,
And how old are you?
5.
And what is the princess code?
Be kind, loyal, and be sweet.
I don't know if you
What's
heard.
your name?
Oh, I don't know if you heard that. That was my little girl. She's 5-year-old Angelica.
Oh, she's impossibly cute. That's
And
awesome.
If you didn't make out what she said at the end there, it was to be kind, loyal, and sweet. And that's off the cuff. I didn't, honestly, you'll have to try to believe me on that one. I did not feed her any lines. I just pretty much asked her off the cuff what she thinks about the princesses, and you heard what her response is. I mean, let's face it. As a 5-year-old little girl, she has seen every princess movie more than once, and that's kind of what she comes out with at the table, the dinner table, to present to us what these stories are about when I ask her. So I think that there is a level of growth that Disney has gone through with the princess stories, from Cinderella and Snow White and Sleeping Beauty, waiting for the prince to come along and save their day, to Frozen, to Tangled, to some of these other ones that the heroine is going on a hero's journey, if you will.
Well, listen, Angelica is obviously a bright kid, and you and Juliana are obviously good parents. You're reinforcing the positive messages. It's a great thing. That's not true in every case. I mean, she's an exceptional kid, and I mean, if you want to go back to some of the older stories that I think is, to your point, not emphasized so much anymore. But again, you look at the marketing package, Sleeping Beauty is as important as Tiana, as any of the current princesses. And, you know, think about what kind of message does Sleeping Beauty have? The first thing she's given when she's born is the gift of beauty. That is something a woman should be blessed to have. She's very passive. She gets tricked into a coma, and where she's saved and finds true happiness ultimately with a man, and I think that's pervasive through all the princesses, where ultimately they get married, and that's the be all end all.
Well, but I don't know. I think my wife will disagree with you. I hope she will disagree with you in that marriage is supposed to be an attribute that is a positive thing that we experience in our lives, despite some difficulties that people have and in our world. Marriage is a goal that I think is a positive goal if presented in the right way. Now, listen, I can agree that back in 1937 or 1950, when Cinderella came about, or 37 when Snow White was around, that these messages were different. But I would suggest that they have evolved over time, and in fact, the princess stories have permeated our society so much that even to this day, Dancing with the Stars, a couple of weeks back, well, maybe it's about a month ago now, had Amy Purdy, who was a person who had no legs.
I remember that.
And and she performed beautifully on the program. And at one day, one of the judges just had to mention and couldn't.
You created magic, and I want to say that I hope Disney will make their next princess like you, because you created magic.
I mean, she couldn't hold back, comparing this person to a princess, and I think that thought is on that judge's mind, not from Cinderella, so to speak, and the negative beauty aspects or the marketing that you're talking about, but from the messages that these princesses, especially the modern ones, are presenting of a person that's gone through a hero's journey, that they're growing up, they're finding their talents, they're joining maybe some other party, a person, friend, or group of people to overcome an obstacle, and in overcoming that obstacle, they are then becoming the person that they should be. That could be Star Wars, that could be tons of literature that we see, and I think that permeates the present day princess stories.
Agreed. And all this with the marketing and the deluge of Disney products, right, Doug? I mean, it's moderation, right? You've got to have some kind of control over what comes into the house in terms of the product and the image and everything like that. And a lot has to do with the parents.
I can't disagree with you at all on that. The parent is very important in the process. Disney is not there as our babysitter, if you will. I know all of these Disney stories now after 5 years, or she's been watching for maybe, I don't know, the last 3 years. I know every story inside and out because I'm there with her and making sure that there's something of value there. And I discuss these movies and the stories with her after the movie is over. I don't want her to say, okay, that was wonderful, let's turn on the next one. We, believe it or not, have diatribes or discussions about these characters and what they went
heated
through.
Discussions, or are they
get
pretty
heated
civil?
when she tells me that Rapunzel is not the best princess, and I argue that it is, that she is. That we do throw down the gloves, so to speak. We do get along though on this, in that the princess in today's world is someone that. I can't believe that we're actually discussing this. Two grown men are going through a discussion of princesses for all this time. I hope you're staying with us on this. At
Why?
Long Island.
Why not two men talking about princesses?
I agree.
Why not?
Well, because we could say something that could get us into trouble with our wives. I guess is
please.
the major obstacle. And by the way, if you happen to miss any of our shows in the past, feel free to listen to the podcast at everythingoldisnewagain.biz. And please email us any questions or comments or complaints or maybe even a compliment to us at oldnewagain@aol.com. And, of course, you're listening to Long Island News Radio. Douglas Viviani and David Cohen discussing the princess
Controversy.
Yes, the controversies surrounding the princesses. Now, Dave, which is your best princess? Which one do you like the best?
Oh, really? All right.
I'm going to suck you into this argument.
So we're in a princess fantasy draft. Is that what we're doing? My
Yes.
first pick would be, I would have to say it's Tiana from The Princess and the Frog, and I'll tell you why. Hey, I'm serious here.
I would like to know why.
First of all, I like the fact that Disney went the ethnic route. I think it's fabulous. But more than that, she's an entrepreneur. She's a hard worker. She doesn't come from this, blessed, she's not a neglected child. She doesn't come from a broken background. She has family that believe in her and support her. She doesn't instantly fall for a man, which I think is important. And when she finally does accept his flaws, they both become frogs, right? I mean,
yes,
that's pretty important. And when she does achieve her goal of owning a restaurant, she even teaches her husband a thing or two about work ethic. So I think she's the best.
I'm going to say that I have to disagree with you. I've given a hint already previously in my discussion that Rapunzel, to me, is the best princess out there. This is a girl that could paint, she could sing, she could bake. What she does in that tower alone in one day is more than I did as a college student in 4 years, that's for sure. Besides that, once Flynn Rider finally approaches her and they meet and they go on their hero's journey, she's able to use her inner goodness, if you will, and she is singing to a band of derelicts in a bar. That song we heard previously about she wants to follow her dream, and you would think that in this environment she would be attacked and there'd be some problems, some difficulties with her physically, or have to run out of there, and instead, because of her good nature and because everyone has a dream, I don't care if you're in jail, if you're the President of the United States, anybody else, everyone has a dream. Everyone in that bar, the Ugly Duckling, sang with her, joined with her, and joined her on her excursion to become the person that she is, and they became better people as a result. So and by the way, she didn't marry the prince at the end. She married someone that was not. He was basically a thief. And so he changed as well because of her good nature and her aspiring to her true nature. He then also did the same.
So you're putting more importance on the personality and the attributes of the princess. I guess I'm talking more about the achievements, right? The goal-oriented kind of.
Yes, but I mean, you've started this whole thing with a whole diatribe, and you went on, and I understand.
Well,
that,
but Doug, to be honest, I do have a lot more to say about it. I think there are a lot of negative things about it.
Listen, I'll have to just leave it where it is at this point because I want to go to a clip of my little girl singing "Let It Go," and any show that can do this to a little girl can't be bad.